Hey, welcome back to Some Questions Regarding Life. I'm Audrey. This is part 2 of a conversation we recorded outdoors with birds and breeze and some big questions in the air. We just finished debating bias and the trolley problem. Now, things get more personal. Do we all have the same morals? What's the difference between a belief and a value? And why do good people suffer? Whether you're religious, skeptical, or somewhere in between, I hope this one makes you think.
I don't think everyone does have the same morals, and yes, if we all had the same information, we would have the same morals, potentially. But what I'm saying is we don't have the same.
I don't know about that, because that assumes.
I know, but that's what he's
I
saying.
think if religion didn't exist, then I think that might be true. But I think religion makes it different.
Why?
Because like someone who could agree with us completely in morality, but they're Catholic, would never support abortion. Not all Catholics,
I don't think that's a moral
I think
thing.
religion.
But that is, to them, that is a moral thing. To them, like,
I think that's
that
like,
moral is,
yeah.
like, they won't get into heaven if they disagree with that moral.
I agree that religion has to play a part, because going back to the trolley problem, like a Buddhist, for example, like they would not want to pull the lever because they don't want to cause
Karma on themselves.
Yeah, like they don't want to be the one who like does the action. So even though the consequence is worse, like they don't want to put them on themselves. But if another religious person were to be in that same situation, they would have a different like moral.
I think of that as like nature or nurture. Whatever. Yeah, nurture. Sorry.
Do you think everybody's born with the same morals?
Yeah. I think so. I think they're shaped as you're like growing up, because again, like if you think about again, like gay people who support gay marriage or something, like
Also, like, it's easy to say that like, hypothetically.
no, but what I'm saying is like people who don't support it say it's like against their morals.
I was trying to Nicole, sorry, not.
Oh.
I agree with you.
Yeah, and so okay, if you like people who support gay marriage, okay, and there's people who are against it because they're like it's morally wrong, it's against my morals, yada yada yada, and that's something that they were raised.
Yeah, that's true. And even if you say to that
understand.
person, "Don't you think everyone should love whatever?" they would still say no.
Yeah,
I think like morals are like much more baseline than that.
You think?
I
You're
think
saying
it's,
like love.
we should
and,
love, don't
kindness.
like spread
Like,
happiness.
basic, like-
yeah. And I think as far as like gay people supporting gay, or, yeah,
That's a lot of context.
goes, I think
I
it's
know what you
like-
mean. That's a lot of nurture.
yeah. I think it's a lot of nurture stuff.
yeah.
But
But I think morals are more complicated than you're
Yeah.
saying. I think there are those baseline morals that you're saying that everyone has, and I agree with you on that. But I also think that there's like more than two.
Oh, guys, let me cook here. All right, so there's baseline morals, full circle. Baseline morals agree emotionally and logically. Okay? Like, love, we can agree emotionally and logically.
Okay.
And then there's, like, extended morals that are more, like
nuanced.
more nuanced, and, like, you have to think, you need, to come to the correct moral decision, you need context, information, and thought. Which makes them not baseline morals because everyone doesn't have access to those three things in the same way. So that makes those morals, yes, true, if you have those three things, but not everyone has all those three things, so that's why not everyone has those same morals for those kind of.
I don't know.
I don't think you cooked.
I don't agree.
for
Really?
that. I don't think everyone's picking up what you're putting down.
I don't know if everybody's born with the same baseline morals.
Really? You don't think every human naturally has an affinity to? Actually, no. That's a good point, because aren't we inherently selfish?
I want to believe that everybody's born with the same baseline morals. There's no way we can find out, because from the moment you're born, you're nurtured.
Yeah, okay, this is like very stretched. But what if you were born into a society where killing was okay?
Like bones and all. Have you seen them?
Yeah.
No, but
that's
I want
not
to-
really.
But that's
It's different 'cause it's a
cannibalism is like.
need.
But that's like, how would they know that
It's wrong.
eating people was wrong?
Yeah, like that's the question. Like in a society like that, would they instinctively feel that this is wrong?
What about Midsummer?
I
Have you
think
seen
like
Midsummer?
wasteful death. That's
The
just
cult?
instinctfully.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like they all think
I mean,
that's
think about it.
like,
I think
they just
most
believe
people.
it.
I think most people would cringe at like an animal dying. Like,
Setting a cat on fire.
yeah, I
Huh.
think most people would cringe at that.
But that's like because that's
Yeah,
our
I
society.
agree that
that's
you
a
can't
moral.
measure it.
That's like those extreme situations show people's morals because
But I think there's
everybody would not like to see the count.
But there's some people who would, but then those people are like sociopaths and
Psychopaths.
psychopaths.
Yeah,
who
I
just
think
don't-
we exclude them from our
When
conversations. I
people
don't
think that,
But also, there's more nuance though, because like narcissists and like those, like
I
there's
can't
there's
say
people who like
narcissists,
straddle the
bro.
lines.
there's people. I think if you narcissists,
I can't stand narcissists.
I know like they'll be like do something bad, but then it's
If they know that
part
they
of them
would-
just
yeah.
knows like this isn't. I shouldn't be like doing some stuff.
What do you think?
Even if they do, I don't think we can judge off actions. I think like we just have instinctual thing. It's all like love.
Is that-
and that's what it is.
Does that relate to the survival part? If you
But yeah,
don't-
let's assume everybody is born with like those baseline morals. Like, how do you categorize? Like, what is that?
I don't know if they can be like.
What I said about the like baseline and
Yeah, but is that is that an emotion? Is that a reason? Is that a
Oh.
survival instinct? What
Well,
is that?
Also, to me, like back to your
Why are we born with that?
baseline versus not baseline. It's to me the baseline ones are morals, and maybe like the secondary ones, the extended ones are more like woman.
yeah, that's an
I-
example.
something like
No,
that.
yeah, that's
I-
an
like,
example
you
of
know?
that. But actually, what would we call that? Because there's
Like, that's just me. I wouldn't call that moral.
maybe that's a belief.
But our beliefs more.
Because
I think
beliefs,
beliefs are different. I think it's
but beliefs, belief can be true. No,
So
Yeah, I
beliefs
think a
can be
belief
true
can
and
be
beliefs can be different.
we were talking about this in
Wrong,
maps.
too.
So we discussed like the difference between values and beliefs, and I think it's what we're saying. Like, those baseline morals are values, and those don't change. Is what we're saying, and but your beliefs are those secondary things.
Yeah, and
they
beliefs
can
change if you receive new information, context, or like.
You're really
Think
coming up with your own.
So I think
No,
that's
I
what
think
I'm
that-
I
but
was
that
thinking
makes
about
a
it
lot of
differently.
sense.
Like I was thinking about morals as more like beliefs.
Yeah,
yeah.
So I think
yeah.
And I also think like stuff like that. Maybe with beliefs, people fold on their morals a lot. 'Cause
Fold
it's like,
on their morals.
yeah, because if like you have the moral of like love, and then people are like,
Yeah.
I don't like that you're gay,
Yeah.
and then they fold on that because that just saying that is folding on your moral. That's not
Yeah.
spreading love.
I think you live at the highest peak when your beliefs build on your morals.
But many times-
regardless of if those beliefs differ than my beliefs.
But I think
I
beliefs-
respect a person a lot if
but
they build on them.
Two beliefs can contradict
Yes.
with your morals.
And I think they can simultaneously be true. No, I don't think a true belief. I think beliefs do contradict morals, but I think a true belief shouldn't contradict morals. If that
I don't
makes
think
sense.
beliefs have to contradict morals.
No, but I think I don't think so either. I'm just saying I think the beliefs that do contradict morals aren't true.
What's like an example?
Like what you said about gay people, like that's a belief that contradicts your moral.
Yeah.
So that belief is
To
therefore
me-
not true.
Yeah, and I think that's just like because of what humans have created. Like maybe like society, like the nurturing has made that into that false belief.
What about
Yeah, sure.
I don't think that's like an instinctual.
Yeah, I don't think beliefs are instinctual at all.
Yeah, I guess.
So to clarify, I don't think these beliefs are instinctual,
Yeah.
but I think morals are. What were you gonna say?
I might not be catching up with this conversation, but what I thought before was I don't see the need to categorize between the first
baseline morals?
baseline and the
Secondary,
the
yeah.
belief system. I think morals are about keeping the boundaries between two relationships, not harming that boundary. Like, woman's right. It could be people would keep women's rights because that boundary is for themselves. Like, it's a boundary that they own. That's why we shouldn't interfere with that.
So you think morals are more about respect?
Yes. Because morals is there for relationships. It's there for how to have
Coexist. With
how to have relationship with other people.
But I think morals, like a moral would be just like the subconscious thing that you need to give that person respect.
Yeah, I think respect
Like,
would be
why
a
do you
moral.
need to give something respect? And that
Because
reason that
we gotta
can't really
live
be
together.
explained. No, but I
can't
can live with you
exist
and I can
without
just disrespect you. I think morality wise, like
instinctively. I think if you disrespect me, like a caveman disrespects others, they would get outside the.
So you're trying to talk from survival, like evolutionary standpoint.
I'm more evolutionist truly believes that what the cavemen did have a profound effect on us.
interesting.
So you're saying all our morals like stem because of evolution.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
I want to like slightly
think-
disagree with you on that, just because.
No, you go first.
Okay, I've had like extensive debate with Anne about this because she thinks that true altruism doesn't exist, and I think it does. And her argument is that all altruism stems
Altruism
from
is like selfishness, right?
yes, and her argument is that selflessness stems from evolution, because by doing something good to other people, we get something back. And I was talking to, I think I mentioned this before. I was talking to someone who had a PhD in philosophy, and I said, this is my dilemma. I can't refute this argument, right? Because you can explain every single selfless act because of selfishness. And his argument is that logically that doesn't stand, because just because you can explain something, like explain that this action was done because of this reason, doesn't mean that is the reason. I can say today, it stormed, and that was God's will.
Yeah.
I can say that, and it's plausible,
Right.
but that doesn't mean it is the truth. So I do see your point, but I also think that some morals aren't maybe all survivalists.
I think the reason why you try to prefer that hope for people that selflessness, true altruism exists,
Right.
is because
Of a bias.
you. I totally agree
This
that
really was.
selflessness does exist, and I'm blinking. Sorry. Lily, can you talk?
I was gonna say earlier.
Sorry.
Sorry, you. Anyways, sorry. You just like. Anyways, what I was gonna say earlier was I think there are morals that have, or things have stemmed from evolution. Like morals have stemmed from evolution from a survival standpoint, but then there are morals that, because we have a more complex
That's what I was gonna say.
thought of process.
The beliefs happen
Line of
because
thought. Line of
beliefs
thought.
happen
Yeah.
because we have consciousness.
Yeah.
Morals happen because of evolution.
Well,
That would be my
What
take.
about doubt
Why?
and beliefs? I
Because
think
I would like to have a optimistic mindset.
I don't think that's
some of our
necessarily
morals.
pessimistic.
I don't think evolution.
Well, I think it is.
Hey,
Why?
pessimistic.
Because evolution is survival of the fittest, and so you're saying all our morals stem from selfishness.
I think I was taking evolutionary more as you'll said, if Cole continually disrespects him, he's going to be kicked out of the community. I think you're going too prehistoric. You're thinking evolution is before. I'm thinking cavemen on,
Yeah.
basic community. Community. That's where I'm getting morals from. Because it makes sense, right? The people who can work well together as a community are going to be the people who survive ultimately.
Yeah, so isn't that a very selfish view?
I have a question about people. What about people like a dictator who they don't work well with other people, but they still are able to survive and still able to take over? Because they might start out with a following, but as they
Sure,
take
but I
control,
think that's they'd be within consciousness.
That's the
My
moral.
level of cavemen wouldn't be smart enough to do that.
But I don't know if they
Yeah.
I think of the
Or
Lion
maybe
King,
we're not on
which
the
I know
same
is
page,
probably
but
not the best thing.
No, but I think the Lion King is
Scar.
those people are making conscious decisions outside of the people. The lions are making conscious decisions outside of survival. So I think that's where I draw the line of when we became conscious.
Maybe this is too recent, and maybe it's odd situation. But there's this movie I used to watch. My parents would show me. Remember that? Yeah. Alright. It's called The Gods Must Be Crazy. It's pretty much the main character is a bushman. They live naked in southern Africa. And they hunt and survive and all that stuff. But in the beginning, when they kill this buck, he's still he prays thanking the buck for dying. He's sorry that this had to happen, but you'll feed my family, you'll feed my cousins. Thank you for doing this. But if humans are only selfless because it's beneficial to them, then why would he do that?
Because
Selfless.
you can explain that in the light of selfishness. You can say he's thanking because if he thanks, that's going to give him good luck for the next hunt. And like you can explain everything.
No,
You could,
but
yeah,
that's a
logically you
belief.
could say that. I don't think that's
I'm
why.
going.
I don't
Yeah,
think
but that's
why.
true. Like,
Okay.
I think
Thanks, Jess.
I think sometimes there's just like an
could just go flip a
inexplainable
pie together
human
later.
thing. Whereas I like what Audrey's saying, where I killed that buck and I'm thanking it partially for this reason for this logical reason, but there's also some sort of emotional connection that I just want to thank.
I think there was an
I just
emotional
want
reason
to
that they
think.
did that
Then
the very first
I
time.
think
And that's selfishness.
yeah, I agree with you. I don't think all our morals stem from evolution.
Yeah, that's what
But I don't think what we just said. I don't think that contradicts morals stemming from evolution.
But it's like, why?
Why?
did he
Yeah,
think the
evolutionary.
buck
Why
is
would you
dead?
have that desire to think? It doesn't benefit.
Because it's evolutionary. It's just like an instinct.
but I don't think instincts are evolute. I
You
get
know what
you
I'm
mean,
saying?
but
You
like,
see what I'm saying? I'm not saying
To the
inherently
buck
like.
itself is like he stands to gain nothing from that. And besides the idea that maybe that'll mean another buck will come along.
Okay,
but
maybe-
that's also not really him
I think-
thinking that one buck isn't what's gonna. It would be like him thinking a god is gonna bring.
I think we're saying the same thing, but I'm imagining evolutionary morals differently than you guys are. Like I think for me, evolutionary morals is like I think you guys are more right than me now that I'm thinking through it more. Like when I'm thinking evolutionary morals, I'm thinking like something that's inherently because like when I think of something that's evolutionary, I'm thinking of something that's instinctual, something that came from like repeated survival, because like it's the same thing. You could say like, why do we have an instinct? You can usually explain it with evolution. So that's like my line of thinking for we have these morals, we explain it with evolution. That was like my line of thinking, but I guess it's different because it's a moral and that's different than an instinct. But like in my head, that's where I think we're thinking the same thing. I think I just think of evolutionary as different than
I have a bias towards the word evolutionary because that suggests to me
cruel.
selfish.
Yeah.
I think my bias by evolutionary is that it's a little bit more positive that we've survived this long.
with these good morals.
Yes, and it's still
That's kinda how I thought it
so many beliefs are
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah.
I see.
And we can't prove what's behind those beliefs, but since it's there, it's such an optimistic.
Yeah, I like that. And then I think I like this idea of that like morals are inherent and belief is what can be changed. Like I don't think morals can be changed, but I think beliefs can be changed, and that's how we can bring greater good to greater people is education, context, and thought that contribute to beliefs.
What about with like belief when people are taught to keep their belief strong, and then it's taught to.
I think
not
that's a
let
bad
your belief
thing.
change?
I think that's a bad thing because I think inherently that creates bias towards your belief being true, even if it's not true, which is bad. And I think it's always good to challenge your beliefs.
That's like doubt.
Yeah, doubt is good. This
But I
is
think-
like your Pope movie.
Yeah, and I think like
Yeah.
my belief in like God is surrounded
By doubt. This is like what
But
Max
that's
is talking
why I
about.
believe
This is
in it
what
more.
Pi said.
Yeah,
Is it?
that too. No, but like Max's Maps talk was really all about that. Like,
Theology.
yeah.
I didn't really understand what he was. We watched
I didn't-
the full
I
one.
didn't-
I
I
don't
didn't
think. I didn't
really-
think he even came to a conclusion.
He
No,
didn't.
he didn't.
He didn't, but that was the point. His conclusion was that doubt
There
is
no
good.
conclusion.
Was it doubt? I thought
I don't
it was
think
more.
it
I don't
was
think that's
that.
what. I think he. Remember, because he ended with if God was on trial, like
Yeah.
how righteous is it that we can be more just than God?
Yeah.
What is that?
That's about
I think
doubt.
his idea is that you can never really tell why God is doing these things, so you just have to trust in Him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so too, but I also think one of the bigger takeaways that I asked the question like how has your relationship with God been throughout this research process, and he said it has been so much stronger,
Yeah.
and it was stronger when he put his beliefs under doubt. Like your beliefs become stronger when
Yeah.
there's doubt.
But if he had just seen the doubt and been like,
Given
this
into
is
the doubt.
it, like you have to
given it.
fight a little bit for your belief in
Sure,
order for it to
I would
sit.
say yes, but I think like that challenge and thought. I think there's definitely times when the belief should crumble and a new belief should be built based on the doubt.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe.
Okay, this is just a random question. Like, more random, but like, it's about belief, but not really. Do you guys believe in karma? Like, the idea that, like, it's the idea
I
of
don't
like
think
selfishness.
so.
Of,
I
like,
think I'm
something
too
happens-
existentialist for that.
I think my belief in karma comes from
God.
like God. So I think it's a little different.
Yeah.
Then why do you think like bad things happen to good?
Max
That's a good question.
Friedman.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is. Yeah.
I actually looked at that a lot.
It's just
What the hell?
it just happens.
Oh, that's a bus.
Yeah, I think that's how
For
we
sure.
would. That's how we would decide that. Are you religious? Do you believe in God?
I used to be very mad about God, actually.
It's just been something that's on my mind recently.
Yeah.
And like,
I feel like I've gone over that so much that I'm just like done with it. I'm like, not done with it, we can't talk about it, but like, I'm like, my position on it is like, it just happens. There is no explanation.
I don't.
Like, but also that's from a non-religious view.
Maybe a more religious standpoint, which I told you and Audrey last week when we were walking back. It was like, when I looked into that and watched a lot of YouTube videos on people like debating it, like the only actual conclusion that I could come from, which might entirely be based on like religion, is that like in bad circumstances, like some good things happen, and like the best argument.
Oh, because we talked about this.
Yeah, but the best argument I heard,
It's like suffering
which
is a
might
blessing.
only work for Audrey, right? Which was that like
you
the
also
worst
religious?
part on the worst time in human history was that when God came as Jesus and was killed by humans. But then out of that, the best thing happened, and that we were like saved.
Oh,
So
that's so true. The whole basis
Yeah,
of
so that justifies
the
it
whole
really
basis
well
of
for me.
Christianity is suffering is a blessing.
Yeah. So then it's, I don't know an answer for you guys, but that works for me.
What type of religion do you practice? Or do you practice?
Christianity.
I used to think that God was fake, that he's all a hoax, and Jesus was a magician. And I still don't believe on the Christian beliefs, but I do think there is God, and we have to believe in it. And just believe on it.
part of me thinks that because I'm someone who's not religious, and there was a period of my life where like I seriously was like, oh, I think it would be interesting to explore, oh, does God exist to me? Do I believe in God? And my biggest thing was that it's hard to wrap my head around like why such terrible things happen, or like
They have to happen. Otherwise, heaven would be earth.
no, I know, but like to such good people, like such terrible things happening to such good people. I couldn't wrap my head around that, and I think that's what's made me so against religion, but also because of some other things, but like from a young age, because my parents were never like my mom's Catholic and my dad's something else, I don't know. But like growing up, they said we could choose if we wanted to go to church, we could. They never held it from us.
Yeah.
But when I started to explore it, my thing was like it made me so angry that someone so powerful could cause so much harm to so many people.
That gives the doubt to believe. I think that was the start. I started believing in God. I was mad at it, but I could find out there are some evidence behind why this suffering is not evil.
For me, I'm not gonna lie, because I think I have a similar experience with Lily, like hating a lot about the earthly things about Christianity and having that be my main experience with Christianity, and so that kind of casting a shadow over the entire religion. But I think for me, because I think about if I was Christian, like I think like it'd be really, this is gonna sound terrible, but I think I'm too lazy to be Christian. Because I think it'd be really distracting from from my life and like other pursuits, and like I think it would be more of a waste than there's always like in the back of my head, also this is terrible, but in the back of my head there's always that you're always taught like as long as you believe in Jesus at the end, you're gonna go to heaven. It doesn't matter what you do. And I always thought, whenever people said that, I always thought when people could just game the system and only. But like, truly, I think like you never thought that.
Like turn to God later
right
in
in
life
there.
after you.
And also think about that.
Oh.
Like when I always thought about that one, if they were trying to do that, they wouldn't be really turning to God, so it wouldn't work anyway. But like for me, I think if when I'm old and retired and have nothing to do with my life but ponder these things, like then maybe I will be Christian or some religious in some capacity because I have the time to do it. You know what I mean?
If I can speak from my capacity, I think it's interesting that you find that Christianity would be a distraction from your life, because I think like Christianity gives me purpose in my life, so it's the opposite of you.
Yeah.
And I think I wouldn't know what to do without Christianity,
But also,
because I
like-
would be lost.
Like for me, like I have a sense of purpose without religion. So
Yeah, there's mosquitoes. Watch out.
They weren't mosquitoes. They were
Yeah.
like longer black bugs. Oh, they were.
like
Those creepy bugs.
not to, and this probably can be different for you, but I think a lot of religious people if they suddenly lost their religion, that would make them feel lost, right? So like they associate religion with purpose, which often is true, but I think for me, like I have purpose without religion, so adding religion would maybe this is what happened. Maybe if I become religious, it would also like practicing like
religion is just for me.
What's your purpose?
I can't wrap around my head about. I understand that it's like suffering is like is growth and like that should be a blessing, but my thing is that
It's
like
hard to say that.
it's hard for me to understand why. Like, why is there somebody who's choosing that for somebody? And so suffering to the point of, my specific example that I turn to is I had a friend who passed away when I was younger from childhood cancer, and she was very religious, went to church every week. And like part of me was like, maybe if I turn to religion, that will help her survive. If I pray and I start doing things, like that will help her survive. And I understand that like realistically, like that cancer is unpredictable. But my thing was that like as a young kid, it's hard to wrap your head around if she was good and I was good, my family was good, her family was good, everyone around her was practicing and willing her to live, then why would God take her away?
I think that's totally valid. And in Life of Pi, Pi says his dad, I think it was his dad, it was his teacher lost belief in God because I forget what exactly happened, but like someone was on his deathbed and what saved him wasn't God, it was medicine. Like, I think it's very valid, but I think it is that I don't know why, that it's like the idea of like doubt strengthening religion. I forget what point I was going to make, but it's like you can't like also in Life of Pi, right? So
religion is belief.
Why did God sacrifice his son for humans? That's a bad thing that happened to a good person. Like a very bad thing that happened to a very good person. So why the heck did he do it? And I think like sometimes we will never know. There's another question that I've been thinking of, like when I got sick of thinking about that question, which is why do good things happen to bad people?
Yeah, interesting.
Actually, this is like why I think like it's hard for me to wrap my head around
Because humans always think that when good things happen to good people and bad things happen to bad people, that's just.
Right.
But that's not just. If we think
that
it's not realistic, but it's not just either.
Yeah,
there's no world in where that's true, you know? And if there's a world where that is true, what is that? Heaven and hell. That's literally heaven and hell. Bad things happen to bad people and good things happen to good. That's literally heaven and hell. So it's without earthly life, there's nothing. There's no purpose. You know what I mean? Like without suffering, there's nothing.
In my sophomore year in the library, I suddenly just struck my head that in Earth, there's only Earth. There's no heaven or hell.
Interesting.
It's just us, Earth. It's just a combination between hell and heaven. What we need to do is just focus on what's in.
Yeah, because you can't. It's controllable. I wrote about this in my AP Lang essay. Like, one of the reasons why living in the present moment is better than living in the past or the future is because it's controllable. Yeah.
I mean, you don't have
I don't think it is controllable all the time.
It's more controllable than the past or the future.
I agree with you, but I think like there are things that happen in the moment that like are not controllable.
Yeah, but there's the only thing you can control happens in the present.
That's true. I agree with you. I think you can control the future in some sense,
But it's
like,
from the present.
but it's from the present. Yeah.
I don't think you can control the future at all.
Yeah, but you can do things that affect the future.
But you can never.
That's where you have faith.
Yeah, that's why.
But I think for me, it's like with me, like religiously, I've turned away from God and Christ before, and turned away from the idea of there being a God and stuff. And I've come back to it in the past few years. But it's also, I understand what Annie's saying. It's you don't have the effort for it. Like you might be too lazy, but I'm like honestly, religion is not easy for me. Like it's something I put in effort every day to maintain, to learn about. But then it's just like
to grow.
It's
So
just-
we have the same purpose.
Yeah.
Our purpose is personal growth. Yours is religiously, and mine is.
No, but
it's the same thing. It's the same
I've had
concept, though, no?
I always felt like I've had purpose and ambitions, and it's, even when they're not as clear, like as much of an effort as religion is to put in at times, and as much as it feels like I'm sacrificing for it, it just seems like weirdly effortless too.
Yeah.
It's just
What about the Bible? What do you think about the Bible?
okay. Freshman year, I didn't believe in anything the Bible said.
Yeah.
And I saw people in the church who didn't like gay rights and stuff like that.
Use the Bible.
And it's like I see Christians and they turn me away from Christ.
Yeah.
And what I thought, and that was my mistake. And then when I just looked at the words in the Bible, I didn't take them out of context to hate on gay people. I didn't use any. I just read them. It's just like, for me, that's what I believe in, like in its purest form. And I think it's been corrupted, and when it's something that's been like translated, it's tough too.
Yeah.
But it's
Because there's context with the translation.
yeah, it's just I think that there's obviously
do you
there's a
believe
difference.
that the Bible is the Word of God?
Yes, simply yes, but I don't think everything in it God wanted to be there as is. I think there's glimpses of it where I read it and I'm like this is the word of God. And then there's also glimpses of it where I think I'm meant to read it and think this doesn't make sense. Like personal experience was like a few weeks ago I read something. I woke up, the first thing I did, I went on my phone and I saw this like Bible verse and it was choose your friends wisely, blah blah blah, because all these things. And then my instincts was like, I don't think I should choose my friends to be Christians or be like good people, because isn't it the Christian view to take people who are sinners and make them less sinful? And then I spent like that day, and I spent a lot of the day with like people on the lacrosse team and stuff, and like as much as I love them, there's a lot of like negativity in that group. And then I was just thinking like this isn't like nice. And then that same night, like we had like our talk, and then it was more like, maybe you do choose your friends. And I just thought back to that verse and I looked at it again and it was like, this is right. So sometimes I think it's tough and people look at things at surface level and deny them, like I did. And it's just, at least with me and religion, it's difficult as it may be, when you push past it, like you'll always reach a point. And at least I've always, without fail, when I've doubted things, and I've doubted God, and I've turned away, I've always like just reached a point of, wow, like this is how it is. Like this was right.
It's like capital T
Without
truth.
fail for me. Sorry?
Capital T truth.
Yeah.
I think what you're saying is very much what we're talking about, like baseline morals versus like beliefs. Because those morals, if you strip everything and just get to the raw core, those are the morals. But then the contextual things, those are the secondary beliefs, and they change, right? They change based on context and based on your time and based on generation. And if you get too focused on that, I think that's what turns people away from God.
I think
And also what ruins, like, the pure form of the baseline morals.
Thanks for listening to part 2 of some questions regarding life. Whether we're born with morals or build them through doubt, it's clear we're all just trying to make sense of being human. If this episode left you with more questions than answers, good. Follow SQRL wherever you listen, and send it to someone who likes long walks and long conversations. Until next time.